Hello and welcome to Mindset. My name is Chantel Fitzgerald and your host. And as you know, on Mindset, we talk to industry leaders at the top of their field to learn about how did they get there, what were their challenges and struggles along the way, and their mindset to push through. And today we have an awesome guest. I'm so excited. He actually flew, and literally flew because he's a pilot, from Miami, Florida, just to be on this show with us. Not only is he a pilot, but he is actually the founder of wigglefist, which is a music company, but also has a lot of other things. So please welcome BJ Mendoza. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Grateful to be here.
Awesome. I'm so grateful for you to be here too, and flying up from Miami, Florida to be with us here, and literally flying, because that's what you do for a living. But we're here to really talk about wigglefist and telling us a little bit about what is wigglefist and and what does that even mean, but also your journey through music and why you started wigglefist to begin with. So let's start at the beginning.
All right.
And tell us a little bit about music and what gravitated you towards music to then create your own company.
Well, that starts back when I was about 4 or 5 years old. One of the songs was Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood. I just was hooked on the sound of the saxophone, loved it immensely. And then that kind of led shortly thereafter to discovering Boston's More Than a Feeling. And the crazy thing about that's my favorite song in the world. It describes me to a T. The sound of the guitars would hook me into it to begin with, to want to learn how to play it. And it's been a love-hate relationship with it because it's so difficult sometimes. But it really is just a feeling that song gave me that I have to figure out how to do this. I have to figure out how to get the feeling I feel out of me via music that I learned how to create eventually to other people.
So you really just wanted to bring music to other people, but you were just touched and moved by music so much that you were thinking, wow, how can I bring this to others?
It was just how is this making me feel this way? You just put on a song that you just can't hear enough of, and it's like your ears can't open up wide enough. Almost like when a painter or somebody that loves art, they can't look at it enough, where music was, I just enjoyed the feeling that it gave me. And there's so many great songs out there. Another one would be Bittersweet Symphony by The Verb is another one that really touches me. But there's just something about it, how it does have the ability to communicate across all races and all different types of people from all over the world. Like, you can disconnect from your problems via a sound or a song or something that somebody's saying to you and go to another place.
Yes.
And that's been the biggest thing so far since we've learned how to make music and learned how to use this experience and educations that we've given ourselves over a lifetime really now, to disconnect. I mean, it really is a way to, all right, I have all these problems, but let me go lock myself away in my room with my guitars and just forget about this for a while.
Yeah.
So it still has that ability.
So tell us more about that. And when did you start playing the guitar? But you had also mentioned too, when we were talking before, that you could play pretty much any instrument. So when did you start playing music and really start, exploring more, not only loving music and how it made you feel and how you could disconnect from anything, but when did you start playing? What was your first instrument?
The first instrument that I was taught how to play formally was the saxophone in fifth grade band. But I had been fooling around with the guitar, before that, and never really had any instruction and stuff. And that's why it was so frustrating, because it is a difficult instrument to learn by yourself, and you're trying to recreate all the great sound that you hear, but you still how do I get what I can hear in my head through my fingertips? So the first entrance into music really was the saxophone. Played all throughout middle school and high school, which led to cello, string bass, and wind ensemble, the tuba and marching band, the guitar eventually into the jazz band. So there was a number of instruments that I got to touch, with formal training that taught me, okay, I do have the ability to play an instrument, read music, and now I know how to get what I hear in my head through my fingertips and via and let people hear it via an instrument. I was always really interested in wanting to write songs. I was always one of those guys jotting down things in his notebook, and none of it made any sense back then because I had no life experience whatsoever. But I was one of those guys. My partner Teddy was too, just always thinking along the lines of lyrics and poems and stories. And so we wanted to do this very early on, but no one really wants to get serious about it. And it's really rare that you find a group of kids that think along the lines that you do, that want to get serious about it and try to form a band for the right reasons, you know, and hold on to this dream for the right reasons to try to make it go as far as you can. So it was probably around high school when I heard Trent Reznor's first album, Pretty Hate Machine. And once I learned his story that he literally did it all by himself because he wanted to get what was in his head and heart out to the world, and like, that's it. I need to figure out how to do this myself. And so around that time I started DJing. You know, I kind of got into the electronic music because of those sounds and these crazy synthesizer things. So that led into DJing, and a whole nother world opened up. So I started earning music and kind of building a name for myself around 15 as a club DJ, rave DJ, that kind of thing. But that quickly led into, well, I'm tired of playing other people's music. I want to start producing my own. So the first records and stuff that I actually recorded and, you know, wrote and put out was techno, you know, that kind of stuff, because of, you know, it was all being able to be done by myself with the help of a few friends and, you know, that kind of thing, from the small town outside New Orleans where we all grew up. But Teddy was kind of on the same lines, but he wanted to be a singer. And so we didn't really reconnect, or we didn't really connect until after high school sometimes. But so a mutual friend of ours said, all right, y'all need to get together, because y'all don't ever shut up about this, and y'all have the same mindset, pun intended, as one another. And so here we are today, still holding on to this dream that keeps me a 14-year-old, 40-year-old. So that's why I sit before you.
Yeah, I love it. And so you had this love, then you partner with Teddy, who's your partner, and that, you know, with wigglefist. So tell us a little bit about how wigglefist was born. And by the way, why do you call it wigglefist? And he brought in these awesome mugs that with wigglefist on it. So tell us, how did you create this name, wigglefist?
All right. Well, I can't take full credit of it. It did come from the mind of a young little kid who was a friend of ours, this girl named Hillary Marek out of Houston. It was after about 3 days and nights of working on music, sleep deprived, you know, hopped up on Bud Light and Mountain Dew, and we were randomly communicating with her on Facebook, and out of nowhere, she replies this, you know, she replies to one of the comments that we had put on Facebook, and as I'm reading it, and I'm not even paying attention, Teddy catches it, and he's like, what the hell is a wiggle fist? And so we thought about that for a second, and we're like, what is it? So we start Googling it, and that didn't exist. You got like fist pump and that kind of thing. So like, well, what does it mean to us? Like, why is this kid using this? So we kind of adopted, like, once we're like, all right, one, it's a unique word, and it's a word you cannot say and not get a reaction out of somebody. I mean, it's gonna be like, what the hell is that?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
So, but for me personally, the way I describe it is like, if you had a lottery ticket in your hands and you paid $1 for it, the next day you find out that same piece of paper that you spent $1 on is now worth 300 million, you would probably be like, yes, yes. So that's kind of for me, that's what the feeling of it is. And it is each little, you know, step up in the game that we're trying to make it in, and it's each little, it's all these little things happen to us. It's like, yes, we're doing this, we're doing it right, we're on the right path. So that's really what it means. It's a physical reaction to a human emotion, if you will. That's how, if I ever get Webster's, if I ever get the chance to put it in the dictionary.
Yes, that would be amazing.
A physical reaction to a human emotion by grabbing one's fist and just shaking them like, we did it, man, we did it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so true too, right? I mean, whenever like we win something, I mean, I just remember seeing like Tiger Woods just winning the Masters again, and the first
he's
thing
probably
that
the master doing it. I mean, he's got that whole scoop to his wiggle fist.
Yes, exactly. But anytime anybody wins something, you always have a fist, and you're always like, yeah, I did it.
For when we finally adopted it, and I mean, it really kind of, I got it immediately. I kind of saw this big picture of like what it could be and what I kind of felt like I wanted it to be, because one, it's a part of the human body. It's like peace, rock out, you know, we've all been doing this, but there was never a word to describe it. So we just got lucky with this. I mean, it did come out of nowhere. It
and it was on Facebook too. You have like a,
so
this was like
this was the original post of that
Yes.
night on what
That's
how
so
it all
cool.
came. So I made one for Christmas for Teddy, and so it hangs in the studio, and he has one in his house. But that's the original post of of where
Maybe
it came.
read a line or
All
two
right.
from it.
Okay, so this
Where
is
it
how
really
this
came
this
in,
is how this
yeah.
brought our comment, right? So with that being said, we've decided to call ourselves Monkey's Uncle. Love you too. Completely joking. Like came out that was just a random statement. So she responded back, "Oh my God, I am cracking the F up. That is awesome. My kid tells me the other day that he didn't like his new principal because he was such a wiggle fist." So I'm like, what the hell is a wiggle fist? And he tells me it's an adult who shakes their fist when yelling at a kid, thinking, "Get off my lawn, you damn hooligans." And I sat there thinking. And so I go on to the next line, and Teddy's like, whoa, stop. What is a wiggle fist? And so that literally put pause on music for the next 4 or 5 hours. We sat in our studio in my room and just discussed, like, what is this? So we started looking it up, and we dropped everything. We bought the domain name. We started filling out trademark paperwork. I even started thinking of the logo in my head, which, it turned out to be this. And so, and the interesting thing is even with, the hats, and that's why I put 2 hats up there for you, like, we're selling 150 of these a week all over the world. And the main response I get so far is, thank you for buying this, but why did you buy this?
Yeah. We got to go to break, and I want to come back on
all
that.
Right.
Why did you buy this, and why Wiggle Fist? So we have to take a break, but this is a perfect place to stop.
Perfect.
For us to come back to and talk to BJ about why Wiggle Fist, but also people are buying his hats, his t-shirts. He has like necklaces, mugs. Why and how are people buying Wiggle Fist, but also how is this a music company as well? And also, what were your challenges and struggles along the way and the mindset to push through? So we have a lot to get to, and we will be right back. So see you soon.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
RVN TV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. Over 285,000 viewers are tuning in to RVN TV shows monthly. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio and within 48 hours have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
All right, well, welcome back. We are here with BJ Mendoza, who is the founder of wigglefist, and we were just talking about how not only is wigglefist a music producing company, but you also have all kinds. It's a fashion thing. It's a statement, and we were just about to talk about why are people buying wigglefist. So you've got your T-shirts, you have your hats, you have these awesome mugs, and I love your wigglefist necklace there. And you were just talking about why are people buying wigglefist, and so why are people buying wigglefist?
Well, once we came up with the name, and like I said that night, I really had a vision in my mind on what I wanted the logo to be and look like. So when we finally got down to the final draft of what it turned out to be, we're like, man, this really does look cool. So my thought was, let's just start making hats and T-shirts, and because I wanted to start wearing them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a walking billboard for this, and if you can dream it, you can. If you can dream it, you can believe in it. If you believe in it, live it. Once you start living it, people are going to see it, and that's what I wanted people to see from one person, for the best person, probably to talk about it. So we started, wearing this, and people would ask, what is it? Oh, okay. So I put pictures on Instagram and to build our social media. Next thing I was like, well, how can I get one? I'm like, wait a minute, I got to get this website up and running, because now we could probably sell these things to have money to put behind the music. Well, 1 turned to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, 32, and so on and so forth. That we ask, thank you very much. Please do us a favor, take a snapshot or a selfie now with your hat on, and just hashtag wigglefist, so we can spread this word. And that's kind of how it all has taken off. Completely organic, with very little advertising and I don't want to say marketing forethought, but it's the best way to word of mouth, and sharing on social media nowadays has been mostly what brings life into products anyway. So that's how this happened. And every now and again, somebody would respond to our thank you message, and I would just ask them in reply, why did you buy this? What do you know about it? I just like the way it looked. I'm like, that's it. I mean, it really is taking on the life that I had initially in those first 3 or 4 hours of thinking of this, that it's a brandable thing. So, and here we are. So we just recently took the word away and just put the fist up there, and that seems to be pretty popular too.
Yeah, I like it. That's so good. So now let's talk a little bit about the music of wigglefist and what you guys are producing, but also, and just starting this business. What have been some of your challenges, and just in general in life, in terms of producing music, and what has been your mindset to help push you through?
Well, Teddy and I have been pursuing music for a long time, as most people do. So we've really cut our teeth by going about making things sound really bad to get to the point of thinking, all right, this doesn't sound too bad. Okay, now I'm learning this craft. I'm learning how to use it to express myself. So we've been doing this for a number of years. The hardest part, and I think the biggest thing, especially with art, is betting on yourself and the pressure of, I know if your music's good, but I don't know if mine's good, and how is mine gonna be? And when it comes to something so personal like music, it's pretty much somebody's heart. And if somebody doesn't like it, that could be skull crushing. So it's getting past that pressure. The second thing is, do I still have the tenacity that I did as a 14-year-old, as a 40-year-old? And where am I going to get this fuel and burning desire to keep doing this? Well, you got to lean on certain things, like for instance, this show. So far, this is the greatest thing that's happened for us, period. Because it is the greatest thing that's happened for us till this point in my life. Tomorrow's not promised to no man, thanks, Pac. So it's not. So we're going to use the fuel from this to say we are on the right track. We're getting to share our story. So deciding that I am going to bet on myself 100%. I'm not willing to fail, and I'm going to try this until I'm either no longer breathing or the doors just get blown off the hinges. So that was probably the biggest thing. The second thing is financial pressure. It costs a lot of money to do this. It's real easy to make music nowadays. It costs lots of money to bring it to a visible point that the world can see it. So it was hard enough back in the day when we were working 2 and 3 jobs and going to school and that kind of stuff. But the invention of social media had happened yet, so that's all we had. Well, now is we both have really serious jobs. We do make decent livings. We're using this, and I don't have any kids. I'm not married, so this is my children. He's in elementary school right now. He's getting ready to go to middle school, and then on high school and college and so forth. But I'm using that money to put as much of it behind this as possible. So to make that decision, okay, do I prepare for the next 5 years, or do I care about the next 5 minutes? And I care about both, but what really matters is the next 5 minutes for me, because if something does happen in the next few years to me, God forbid, I want to go leaving a little bit of this behind. That way either Teddy carries on or just having some little bit of stamp on our contribution to this art.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit more about your art and the singles that you're producing and the music that you're sharing.
We are kind of all over the place when it comes to music. Teddy's had a really long R&B soul singing career. Michael Jackson was probably one of his biggest influences. Where I come from, this industrial rock, synthesizer type, vibe from that led or carried on from my love of 70s music and stuff. So our our sound palette is very eclectic, if you will. There's nothing I don't want to try, and there's so much stuff that I'm interested in as far as producing a sound palette, if you will, in the landscape and atmosphere for Teddy to sing on. So we've done stuff that could easily be used in movies that Sony Pictures would produce. We've done pop singles and stuff like that that are easily palatable from an 8-year-old to a 50-year-old. Leaning on my dance experience and that techno world from the rave. We've done stuff that belongs at big EDM festivals and whatnot. And then having played really symphonic music very well with the instruments in high school and stuff. I still have that education and that world that my brain leans in. So to mash all that stuff together, you get wigglefist. So we don't really want to nail ourselves down to one particular thing, because that really limits us. And we decided a long time ago, really, but we decided that night that we're not going to put any limitations, borders, or boundaries of this. We were going to let this thing do as much as it possibly can, be sonically, product-wise, meaning-wise, and it can mean anything to really anybody. Make up your own meaning with it if you want. But and that's the beauty of this, just try everything.
Yeah, and I love your spirit about that too. Everything that's growing into wigglefist is kind of happening organically. From creating all of these different things where people are just like, I just think it's cool. And you weren't putting any boundaries on it and saying, no, we don't do clothes, we don't do hats, we don't do paraphernalia, we just do music. And I love how you just kind of opened it up and allowed whatever is supposed to happen and however wigglefist is supposed to evolve, that's going to how it's going to become.
Right. The craziest thing I think so far that's kind of we've been approached with the logo is late in the latter part of last year, we were approached by a swimsuit designer to develop bikinis for us with our colors and the original colors and the logo. And I'm thinking in the back, I'm like, I know nothing about bikinis except I like them on women. I don't know how to make them. I don't know how to think about putting them together, but if you want to do this, I'm all in. Let's go. What are your ideas? And so we've had a few conversations over the past few months, and it's in R&D right now. But hopefully, June, July, we'll be putting out 2 different bikinis and a one piece with the fist logo on it. And so we shall see how this goes.
Cool.
But that's just us. That's just me and Teddy. Like, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing. So it'll all eventually tie back to the music we've done, which we've done. We've had 4 tracks out so far that you can find up on our website, wigglefist.com, free downloads, and YouTube channel and whatnot, to just get a taste of what we've done so far and really what our sonic abilities are.
Yeah. Do you still have the Chainsmokers song on your website?
It's on the website and it is on the YouTube.
I love that. That was really awesome. I would highly recommend checking that out. You guys did a whole remix of, that feeling.
The way that came about was Teddy called me on December 9th and said, hey, how about we enter this contest to do a remix of This Feeling by the Chainsmokers featuring Kelsey Ballerini. I'm like, okay, when's the contest due date? 10 days. Like, okay. So he sent me to the website. I downloaded the stems for it, and then I listened to the original, and I'm a fan of some of the Chainsmokers music. I think those guys do some pretty decent stuff, and some of the songs are just really awesome. But when I heard this particular one, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think they served her vocal right. So me going back to my rock days, I'm like, everybody's gonna do a house techno version remix of this song. Everyone is. I don't think anybody's gonna do a rock version with a guitar and this and that on it. So that's immediately where I went. And through days of sleep depriving myself, the result was that track. And I think it's the best thing we've done to date, because we actually, we removed Alex, one of the guys of the Chainsmokers vocal, and we put Teddy in to sing it to match her, almost like a live duet, kind of like Aerosmith, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry would do. But that was the thought process in my head, to where I can see this being played live in my head, not from a computer kind of thing. So, but thank you. We are pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, that was really that was one of the first things I saw when I went to your website, is the Chainsmokers song. And I personally like that song. So when I heard the remix and how you guys put it together, I was like, that's on point. That's so good.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
we were a little nervous at first on how it would be, received and whatnot, doing that. But I mean, a remix is a remix. So I mean, let's just make a completely different version of it.
It was so well done. Well, we have to wrap up, but I love your inspirational talk around, your tenacity. You also have this 14-year-old mind and a 40-year-old body, right? And really just pushing through and believing in yourself to make it happen. And, knowing that wigglefist is your baby, and maybe it's a little bit older than a baby now. So maybe he's, how old is he?
It's actually 3 years old, 3 years old and 3 months right now.
So, so he's a toddler right now, but growing your baby and also learning, how it all got started. And how you kind of let go and just allow wigglefist to really evolve naturally, and allow anyone that's coming in that has a connection or likes it, you're allowing that to grow to help build your brand and also your music at the same time. So I think that's really awesome. Because oftentimes I think we like to stranglehold. No, it has to be like this, and you're just open to allowing it to flow.
I'm just a big believer in inspiration. And if this can turn into something that can inspire others to do this, and because I've done it and Teddy's done it, I mean, that's really all we want to leave behind.
Amazing. So how do people get in contact with you? How do they learn more about wigglefist? How do they get more wigglefist t-shirts and hats and mugs and necklaces, but also to your music? So would love to, feel free to share to our viewers. How would they get in contact with you?
If you want to contact us directly, you can go to www.wigglefist.com/contact. You can just go to the homepage, and it's real simple to navigate. We cover all the social media platforms across the spectrum, but really through the website, you can find everything about us, our stories, our bios, this, that, and the other. But there's a connect button if you want to click and send us an email and reach out, either in regards to what we're doing or work with us or this and that. That's the best place. And then, of course, follow us. And if you have a hat already, don't forget the hashtag wigglefist.
Exactly. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much, BJ, for being here.
My pleasure.
It was such a pleasure to have you and hear all about your baby, wigglefist, and the evolution. And I'm so excited to see, how it all evolves. And maybe we'll be seeing you on the Grammys in a couple of years. Who knows?
Please look it out.
That would be amazing. And don't forget about us here on Mindset. And don't you forget about us on Mindset either. We'll be here next week on Mondays at 2 o'clock. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, BJ, for being here, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
God bless.